Welcome everyone to my channel. My name is Kaz and I'm an intuitive and a healer. In today's reading we're going to look at what is coming in 2024 for you. We have 3 piles to choose from. Each crystal is going to represent a quarter of 2024. So in group 1 we've got amethyst, fluorite, peacock ore and the joy crystal. In the second group we've got black onyx pyramid, Dalmatian jasper, rose quartz and dambarite. And in the third group we've got mookaite, snowflake obsidian, moss agate and blue sunstone. The timestamps for each pile are in the description box and you can scroll straight to your reading and I will see you there. Group 1, welcome to your reading. I'm going to read each crystal for each quarter. So this one pertains to January, February and March. I'm just going to tune in here and see what we've got. I'm hearing the word glamour, glamorous. So you may be looking at changing your appearance in some way or putting a little bit of extra time into yourself and your own well-being. For some of you, there's New Year's resolutions that you're undertaking and you have the power and the ability to be able to do what you want to do with this. So by the end of March, you will have made a significant inroad into what you want to do. That energy will keep continuing on. I'm even hearing until February next year. So it might be that you've decided to eat a certain way or to do a yoga practice every day or something that changes your appearance but also makes you feel better on the inside. And I see it's really good energy for this at this point in time. So that's where your focus might be in January, February and March. April, May and June, I'm seeing a bit of a slump in something. So it might be your enthusiasm, but you will keep going. It may be, maybe there's a little downturn in your work environment, that things quieten down a little bit, or it may be that your energy generally has slumped a bit. For some of you, there are external factors contributing to this, so there might be something going on with someone around you and that energy is affecting you. For others of you, I feel like there is a really, really deep transformation going on inside of you. But what it does is it's sort of pulling your energy down a bit because more energy is needing to go into this transformation. I feel for some of you there is a time factor involved in this. Maybe as part of your astrological chart or divine timing or something is coming up that needs to be dealt with in this quarter. Now it may only last for a couple of weeks within that quarter, but you may find yourself suddenly depleted of energy or in a bit of a slump financially, or you might find yourself suddenly without any social activities booked in, but that's okay because it's meant to be. So just go with the flow there. Don't get worried, ride it out because it will certainly change. And it's time that you needed for you as well if you're taking time out from seeing people. I've been strongly advised to tell you that energy does come in ebbs and flows and to honour that. You can't keep go all the time. If your energy around something has dropped off, it's dropped off for a reason. So just trust the process there. Third quarter, we've got the word joy there. So there's a big sign. What I'm getting is, I'm seeing a puppy actually. So if any of you are looking at getting a puppy, the third quarter is probably when it's more likely to happen. Or there's going to be a lot of joyous energy like a puppy. They're just so full of interest in everything. But at the same token, I'm seeing them sleeping too. So they have bountiful energy and spurts of energy and then they need to sleep it off and then gather their energy for the next time of joyous, boundless energy. I'm also seeing that puppies also are interested in everything. They see everything around them is interesting. So this may be a period of you where you're really enjoying things that are around you and exploring new things. and being very, very inquisitive about things, and it brings you a lot of joy to learn about new things. For some of you, there's a new partner here and there's a lot of excitement around it, which is why perhaps I'm seeing a puppy as well, because that sort of real joyful, uninhibited expression of energy is there. I think you'll be very grateful in this period. Now, a lot of this joy is due to you putting time into yourself and you taking your goals and putting them into work. And the outcome comes a few months later or 6 months later. So just bear in mind that if you are struggling during this period here or here in the first 6 months, there is big reward coming in the third quarter. You're going to be really, really thankful for whatever's coming in. All right, in the fourth quarter, I see you settling down at this type of energy, but there's still a lot of happy energy here. There's a lot to be grateful for. There's a lot flowing into your life, and things that perhaps you've been waiting for a long time are suddenly there. And it's like, wow, I didn't think this would actually happen because I've waited so long for it. So it might be that you've been single for a long time and then you decide to move in with someone, or that you get a serious commitment with your new partner, or whatever it is. Whether it's that you get a lot of joy out of having a more mature dog if you've got a puppy in this quarter here, and you're really enjoying their company and what they provide in terms of companionship for you. Sorry, group one, I got interrupted there. So what I see is that energy, or this joyous energy, is still going to be there, but it's going to be more mature energy, a settled down energy. It's not going to be so frantically excited and jumping around excited. It's going to be a quiet joy, quiet sense of contentment and peace. I feel for some of you, this has been a really long journey of getting to this point where you feel whole within yourself. And it's not just started this year. There's probably been up to 5 years of this working on yourself and trying to get yourself to a point where you know you ought to be. And I'm not just talking from a material point of view here. I'm talking from a soul point of view. Your soul has been driving you to reach a certain goal, and I feel that coming to the end of 2024, you're going to be in that space, and you're going to be so proud of yourself, and you're also going to be recognised by other people for getting yourself to this point. So it may be that you've had a big relationship breakup, or you may have been retrenched from your job, or something like that's happened in the past, and what you are doing is getting yourself out of that space and into something very, very stable at the end of 2024. So that's all there is for you in the energy that I'm seeing at the moment. I wish you all the best in 2024, and there's some lovely positive outcomes at the end there. I'll see you next time. Group 2, welcome to your reading. So I've got each crystal laid out here in a quarter. So we're going to do January to March first. Just going to tune in here. I'm getting a sense of water or travel. So it might be that some of you are travelling over water or travelling near water. Some of you might be flying as well. So there may be a trip planned, or it may be something that's unplanned that comes up suddenly. But there's definitely some travel involved here. There may also be communication with people from overseas, so it may be someone that you already know of or someone that's new to you, and there may be quite a lot of communication, and then maybe a planned trip a little bit later in the year because of this communication. It may be work related or it may be personal. But there's definitely a sense of a trip. So, yeah, some of you are flying, so it's a flight that's involved. For some of you, it's a trip over water. The flight can involve a trip over water as well, but there's definite travel involved here. So January to March. So it might be the energy of planning a trip as well as an actual trip itself. You may have already had the trip booked. For some of you here, there's something about a book. So you may be writing a book, you may have to read a book, a very specific book for something that's work related. You may find a book that really resonates with you or really triggers something within you, and it's going to be quite either cathartic, so like a purging, or it will really signal something to your soul that you want to do. Maybe this book is on travel or a story about someone who goes traveling. But it's really going to be significant in your life in some way or another. Now, if you're writing a book, I feel that January to March will be a really good productive time for you to be involved in that process and to really get your teeth into the book. It may not be finished until probably the third quarter, but it's a good time to start if you've been thinking about writing a book. The energy is there for that. It is supported by the universe. Okay, let's look at the second quarter, so April to June. I feel like there's a lot of fun and relaxation in this quarter, so some of you may already have some leisure time booked or prepared for around this time. Maybe you've got holidays booked from work, but I just feel generally it's going to be quite a relaxing time. You might find that if your work has been very busy, it starts to slow down so you have more time to put into things that you enjoy doing. You may take up new hobbies, you may take up new interests, or perhaps older interests that you haven't had time for in the last 6 or so months. But it's a time of unwinding and recalibrating is what I'm getting here. There's also fun and laughter, so it might be a big time for catching up with friends. Some of you might be going to a wedding or having your own wedding in this quarter. But I just see a lot of fun and community, whether it's your family or whether it's friends or whether it's people that you don't know yet. Maybe it's a conference that you're going to, but it's like a gathering of people and there's going to be a lot of fun there. Health-wise here, I'm getting that some of you need to pay attention to how you're feeling, your emotional side, and also your heart health. So perhaps if your diet hasn't been fantastic, you might want to start eating in a way that is healthy for your heart. You might like to take up some sort of form of regular exercise. I'm not saying that there's anything in particular wrong with your heart, but it's highlighted this quarter for prevention for things in the future. Some of you might have had some wounding to your heart. You might have had a relationship breakup in the last year, and there's just going to be some purging there around it. So pay attention to your heart and how it's feeling. The third quarter, so here we're going from July to September. Getting a strong sense of horses. I don't know if you have horses or you're thinking of purchasing a horse, or you're going on holiday or horse riding holiday, but there's very strong sense of horses here. Horses can also mean forward movement at a faster pace. They're also big and strong and sturdy. They've got a lot of power. So this may be indicating that there's something that you're going through a phase where you're in your own power, you're resilient, you're strong, and you can go the distance. There's definitely something here around horses. Now, I have to say, group 2, that I'm finding it really hard to tune into your energy. I'm not quite sure what's going on here, but it feels quite vague. So maybe you're currently in a period of vagueness where things aren't very clear, because I'm actually finding it quite difficult to just grab hold of and to tune into you. Maybe you're not used to psychic readings. Maybe it's not something that you particularly believe in, but that's the energy I'm getting. I'm just finding it very hard to just be very specific. Maybe there's just a lot of you in this group, and because there's so many diverse energies, I'm having trouble with that. No, I'm being told that's not it. Okay, for some of you, you're quite scattered and ungrounded. So the message here is to get your feet on the earth and really connect with Mother Earth. Make a very strong connection with the earth. Some of you are just floating around above it. You're all up in your head and up in your higher chakras, which is great for spiritual work, but you can't really do anything with it if you're not grounded. You need to be able to be grounded and spiritual at the same time to produce anything that is worth your while in the spiritual field. So put your feet on the earth twice a day and really ground yourself. Now, if the weather's not conducive to doing that, if it's very cold or really, really hot outside, you can probably sit on the floor, on the ground floor in a building. Ideally, you're outside doing this, and really connect your base chakra to Mother Earth. I'm getting that it's particularly important in this quarter, but it needs to be done in these quarters too. So this is something that's suggested that you are doing as a regular practice. You might be someone that's usually problem solving in your head and thinking a lot, and that's wonderful. But to be practical at the same time, you also need to ground it into the earth. We do live on the earth. We're in the material plane. So ideas that want to come through, maybe if you're writing a book and you've got an idea, to be able to bring it through and to put it into action, those ideas need to be grounded. Yeah, and I'm seeing penciled paper here. So maybe you are the old-fashioned type like me who needs to write things down as well to get through their day so they remember things. And also if you've got ideas for things, for projects or a book, for instance, keep a notebook and something to write with handy so you can jot down ideas. Okay. Funnily enough, in this quarter I'm hearing frankincense. Frankincense is to do with Christmas. So Christmas may be important at that time of the year, December, end of December. But also, interestingly enough, frankincense is a very grounding oil. So it may be something that you can use to help your base chakra ground as well, if you have struggled to do that this year. I'm seeing fences, and there may be some fences to climb towards the end of the year. And for some of you, I'm getting the impression that you've fenced off something, so that you've actually closed something off that perhaps needs to be examined and see if it can be opened up. Maybe you've had some hurt to your heart, and this year will be a healing year for releasing that. All over this year for you feels like a bit of a mixed bag. It feels like there's some really good things, but there's also a few hurdles to climb over. And you may find that things are stop, start throughout the year, but that's okay, because that's just how the energy is. So don't be too concerned about that. It's just the way we work as humans. For some of you who are doubting your own ability and the ability to see things through, you will find that you get better clarity this year with goals and reaching goals, or at least getting halfway to goals. The advice here with goals is don't put time limits on them. Just have a goal and then put a few little steps in on how to get to this goal, but don't put time limits. The feeling is that when you put time limits on and you don't meet those deadlines, you get very discouraged. And what I'm hearing is that energy flows where thought goes. So if you're obsessing about a problem that you have, or if something's not flowing fast enough, it's going to slow down even further. Because if your thought is this isn't going fast enough, it's going to slow again. So just bear that in mind there. I do see strongly a party as well at the end of the year. It may be a work function to celebrate the end of the year, and you will be rewarded for this hard work during the year that you're doing. You will be acknowledged in some way. So it might be that you get a certificate from work or a bonus or something that acknowledges the hard work that you've done throughout the year. Getting grounded is probably the biggest overall message here for you, and it takes practice. I'm seeing an area with rocks as well. So if you know of an area that's got rocks nearby where you live, visiting that place on a regular basis will really help ground you and bring your energy into a solid form. Okay, group 2, that's all I have for you. I hope you have a wonderful year, and I'll see you in my next video. Group 3, welcome to your reading for 2024. I've set out the crystals so that they represent each quarter of the year. So we're going to start here with January to March. Please take a deep breath for me. I'm feeling that perhaps you guys aren't breathing as deeply as you should. You might like to make a conscious effort to do some deep breathing during the day. I'm just trying to catch my breath here because I'm feeling that. All right. I feel that perhaps things have been quite frantic for you at the end of 2023, and it's now time to take some deep breaths and recalibrate. I feel that you've gotten yourself into a point where you're feeling quite stressed and you have forgotten how to relax. Perhaps you're in that stage 2 of adrenal burnout where you're tired but wired and you just can't let go of things. So the advice here is to get outside. Get away from everything that's electronic and get out in nature. So it might be that you are so wired that you can't sit down and sit still and just be. Then go for a walk in nature. If you're in a warmer climate at the moment, you can get to the ocean perhaps, or get to a body of water and immerse yourself in that. It's going to be very calming for your nervous system. I feel that if you follow this for a couple of weeks going into January, you will start to recalibrate and start to feel a bit more relaxed within yourself. I'm feeling that for some of you, you had a lot of deadlines to meet at the end of 2023, and now you're starting to set your goals for 2024, but it's looking a little bit overwhelming because you feel you have so much to do. The advice here is just let nature heal you. Let nature help. Let nature in. Okay, let's move on to the second one. I'm getting the throat around this here. So you may be coming across instances in the second quarter, so April to June, where you have to speak up. You might be doing a lot of talking, you might in your occupation, or you might be finding that you have to be a spokesperson for someone else who can't do it themselves. Or you may be challenged to express yourself. What the universe is saying here is go with the flow with this. You may notice that there's been a big increase in this, but what it is a balancing out. So perhaps in the past you've not expressed your true feelings, or you haven't spoken up for yourself or someone else, and now it's almost like when the pendulum swings from one side to the other, it's a big swing, and so you're finding you have to do a little lot now, and it's a case of practice makes perfect, and it will even itself out. If this is to do with work, it may be that you talk a lot in your job, and you might find that you're a little bit busier at work here with the talking side of things. For some of you, you will need to take care of your throat. You might get sore throats. You might have other things going on with organs in your throat. So in your throat you've got your thyroid and your parathyroids as well. If they've been bothering you, you may need to go and seek some professional help. And I'm seeing that some of you will need a scarf to keep things warm. It's like there's a coldness or a chilliness in your throat. If you suffer with laryngitis a lot, you may have to get your immune system looked at. And I mean, it may be related to the fact that your nervous system is under a lot of stress, and you may find yourself without a voice due to laryngitis or something like that, tonsillitis or something. The main thing here is talking to express your true feelings. Sometimes we are either suppressing our own feelings towards ourselves or towards others because we want to be polite. I'm hearing it's time for some blunt talking to yourself and others. Doesn't have to be in a nasty way, but it's just expressing your truthfulness. Okay, let's look at quarter 3. I've got this lovely blue sunstone. Sorry about the noise outside if the microphone is picking that up. Okay, so in quarter 3 there's a decision that needs to be made by you. It's quite a large decision. For some of you it might be, shall I stay or shall I go? This could be a job, it could be a relationship, it could be moving from one town to another or one country to another. So there is quite a big decision to be made around this. You've already put some thought into it, but it's going to be crunch time at this point. It might be to do with a relationship that maybe your partner lives somewhere else or has been offered a job somewhere else. And now there's a big decision to be made around that. If this is your job and you've been there for quite some time, there will be an opportunity for another job. If you haven't been in the job that long, the advice is to stay where you are. But if you've been in the job over a year, the advice is maybe look somewhere else if it's not to your liking. A year is long enough to decide whether you like a job or not. And sometimes it's not just the few little quirks that come along. Sometimes the universe sends us quite a few challenges in our jobs because it's time to shift focus and to go somewhere with different energy. At the end of the day, it's up to you to make this decision. The universe isn't going to make it for you. And some of you may think it's better the devil you know, particularly if you've had a few employers in the last 5 years or so that have not been what you expected when you signed your contract. But what I'm hearing is there are better opportunities for you. But at the end of the day, it's your decision. But there's good energy for moving on in the 3rd quarter if that's what you want to do. Okay, in the 4th quarter, so we're doing October to December, I'm getting a real slowing down. I feel that things are calming down in your life. You may have moved house or moved jobs or whatever, but things are calming down in this last quarter and settling right down. It's almost a sense of relief that I'm getting with this in the last quarter. You might have made a big move and the build up to it and the length of time it took. Finally it's over and you can relax and not have to think about it and all the things that go with it. There's also some restful energy with this. So you may, let's say that you've come out of a relationship that was particularly hard on you and now you're just in your own energy and you can relax within your own energy and not have to think about what's happening with the other person and how they're going to react to this and how you're going to react to them reacting to this. I feel a sense of real calm and tranquility at the end of the year. Overall, it's a bit of a mixed bag for you this year. There's a few challenging times. However, the reward is at the end of the year when it's nice and relaxed and things are tranquil again. The feeling is that you're still in a time at this point of frantic energy or very busy energy, but you have an opportunity here to change that, and it'll lead to a tranquil time. Okay, group 3. I hope you enjoyed that reading. That's all I have for you today. Enjoy 2024, and I will see you in my next video.